हाँ।
हरि ओम नमः सर्वेभ्यः। व्याकरणपरिचयस्य अस्मिन् वर्गे वयं संस्कृतव्याकरणस्य विषये अष्टाध्याय्याः च विषये विस्तारेण परिचयं प्राप्नुमः। ये छात्राः सिद्धान्तकौमुदी अष्टाध्यायीं वा अनुसृत्य विस्तारेण व्याकरणस्य अध्ययनं कर्तुम् इच्छन्ति तेषां कृते अयं वर्गः अस्ति, तेषां कृते अयं वर्गः लाभाय भवेत् इति आशास्ये। So just to give a small disclaimer or background, this session is primarily for those who have not studied Paninian grammar in a systematic way and who want to start studying Paninian grammar or want to understand the system of Ashtadhyayi, how Ashtadhyayi was built and what are fundamental principles behind its construction and so on. If you have already been studying books like Ashtadhyayi or Siddhanta Kaumudi, most of the material that I'm going to discuss today will already be familiar to you. There'll be some small things that you will also learn throughout the 2-day session. So this is a 2-day session. Today for 1.5 hours and tomorrow for 1.5 hours, we'll be going over various aspects of the Paniniya Vyakaranam. प्रारंभे वंदन श्लोको पठामः। येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। संस्कृतानुरागिणः संस्कृतस्य च सर्वे अभ्यासकाः अष्टाध्यायी इदं नाम अवश्यं श्रुतवन्तः स्युः। अयं व्याकरणस्य प्रमुखः ग्रन्थः अस्ति। अस्य रचयिता पाणिनि महर्षि अस्ति इति वयं सर्वे प्रायः जानीमः। अस्मिन् वर्गे अष्टाध्याय्याः विषये अग्रे विस्तारेण चर्चा भविष्यति एव, परन्तु तस्मात् पूर्वं प्रारम्भे अयं व्याकरणस्य वर्गः अस्ति, अतः किं नाम व्याकरणम् इति अवगच्छामः। व्याकरणम् अयं शब्दः वि प्लस् आ प्लस् कृ अस्मात् धातोः करणे ल्युट् प्रत्ययं कृत्वा सिद्ध्यति। ल्युट् इति कश्चन कृत् प्रत्ययः अस्ति। भिन्नेषु अर्थेषु तस्य प्रयोगः भवितुं शक्यते। अत्र करणे इत्युक्ते इन्स्ट्रुमेण्ट्, अस्मिन् अर्थे ल्युट् प्रत्ययस्य प्रयोगं कृत्वा व्याकरणम् इति शब्दः सिद्ध्यति। व्याक्रियन्ते नो चेत् निष्पाद्यन्ते अनेन शब्दाः तत् व्याकरणम्। So the instrument or the method or the system which is used for deriving the appropriate forms of the words is called Vyakarana. Vyakriyante anena shabdaha iti Vyakaranam. Tat shastram yasya sahayena shabdanam rupa siddhihi derivation no chet vyutpattihi ज्ञातुं शक्यते tat shastram Vyakaranam namna ज्ञायते। महाभाष्ये अपि महर्षि पतञ्जलि वदति लक्षं च लक्षणं च एतत् समुदितं व्याकरणं भवति। So for those who are not aware, Mahabhashya is the most authentic and the most important book of Paniniya Vyakaranam. It talks about most of the sutras of Ashtadhyayi in sufficient details with a lot of examples and associated shastra in it. In Mahabhashya, Patanjali says, Laksham cha lakshanam cha etat samuditam vyakaranam bhavati. Laksham, the final goal, ityukte shabdaha. Lakshanam, ityukte the process of deriving the final goal. The prakriya or the sutrani. So sutrani and the final words, samuditam combined, represent vyakaranam. Atha tat shastram yena shabda nirmanam सूत्रैहि निर्दिश्यते तस्य नाम व्याकरणम् इति महाभाष्ये आचार्यः वदति। So this is the definition of Vyakarana. And before we start entering Ashtadhyayi, there is one more point that we should know. Vyakaranasya adhyanam kimartham karaniyam? Why should we study Vyakaranam? Now this is a question that can be answered with a common sense actually. सामान्य रूपेण वयं जानीमः व्याकरणस्य अध्ययनं विना संस्कृत सुभाषितानां गद्यानां पद्यानां साहित्यस्य अपि समग्रम् अध्ययनं भवितुं न शक्यते। परन्तु अस्मिन् विषये महाभाष्ये अपि केचन बिन्दवः उक्ताः सन्ति। So the first chapter of Mahabhashya, which is the Paspashanika, there Acharya goes in thorough details explaining why one should study Vyakarana. And this is a good opportunity to talk about a couple of those points so that we can go over some of those aspects and understand from the point of view of Patanjali Rishi why one should study the Vyakaranam. अतः सः वदति प्रथमं वेदानां रक्षणार्थं व्याकरणम् अध्येयम्. कः अर्थः? लोप, आगम, आदेश, द्वित्व एतादृशान् वर्णविकारान् यः कोऽपि सम्यक् जानाति सः एव वेदानाम् उच्चारणं नो चेत् परिपालनम् अपि सम्यक् कर्तुं शक्नोति. You cannot carry the system of Vedas ahead if you are not able to pronounce them properly, if you are not able to mention the swaras in the Vedas precisely. Atah Vedanam Rakshanartham, to carry them to the next generation, you should study Vyakarana thoroughly well. So he says Vedanam Rakshanartham Vyakaranam Adhyayam. Agre sah vadati Vina dosham linga vibhakti vachana parivartanam kartum Vyakaranam Adhyayam. Vedeshu prayah sarve mantraha sarveshu विभक्ति लिंगेषु सर्वासु विभक्तिषु सर्वेषु वचनेषु वा प्रोक्ताः न लभ्यन्ते. यथा समयं तेषां लिंग विभक्ति वचन परिवर्तनं कर्तुम् इच्छामश्चेत् तानि रूपाणि सम्यक् ज्ञातुं व्याकरणस्य ज्ञानम् आवश्यकं वर्तते. उदाहरणं ददामि. वीरं ददातु मे पुत्रम् इति पुत्रप्राप्तेः मन्त्रः अस्ति वेदेषु. तस्य स्थाने कन्याप्राप्तेः मन्त्रं विवक्षामश्चेत् वीरां ददातु मे पुत्रीम् एतादृशं परिवर्तनं कर्तुं व्याकरणमेव साधनम्. अन्यदेकम् उदाहरणं वदामि. शिवाय नमः इत्यस्य स्थाने विष्णु इति स्थापयितुम् इच्छामश्चेत् विष्णाय नमः इति असाधु भवति. विष्णु शब्दस्य चतुर्थी एकवचनं किं भवति? तत् व्याकरणस्य अध्ययनेन एव सम्यक् ज्ञातुं शक्यते. अतः विना दोषं लिंग विभक्ति वचन परिवर्तनं कर्तुं व्याकरणस्य अध्ययनम् आवश्यकमस्ति. अग्रे सः वदति असन्देहार्थं व्याकरणम् अध्येयम्. कस्यापि शब्दस्य नो चेत् वाक्यस्य कस्याञ्चिदपि स्थितौ कः अर्थः युक्तः अस्ति तत् ज्ञातुं व्याकरणस्य अध्ययनम् आवश्यकम्. एकम् उदाहरणं पश्यामः. रामेश्वर इति कस्मिंश्चित् वाक्ये यदि शब्दः आगच्छति तर्हि रामेश्वर इत्यस्य अर्थः रामः च असौ ईश्वरः इति स्वीकरणीयः उत रामस्य ईश्वरः इति स्वीकरणीयः. एतत् सुष्ठु ज्ञातुं स्वरस्य ज्ञानम् आवश्यकम् अस्ति. So the way the word Rameshwara is pronounced, the way swaras are pronounced in this word, it tells whether it should be broken as a bahuvrihi or as a tatpurusha. Swarajnanam bhavati chedev asya shabdasya bahuvrihi samasah asti shabdasya bahuvrihi samasena artha jnatavya no chet tatpurusha samasena artha jnatavya tat jnanam samyak bhavati. Atah vyakaranam vina स्वरज्ञानं न भवितुं शक्यते. अतः व्याकरणम् असन्देहार्थम् अध्येतव्यम् इति सः वदति. अग्रे सः वदति, so all these bold statements that I have written, all these bold statements that I have written are actually taken from the Mahabhashya, and the light statements are the explanations that are there after it. So अग्रे सः वदति अनर्थकं मा अधिगीष्महि इत्यर्थं व्याकरणम् अध्येयम्. कः अर्थः? यत् किमपि अस्माभिः कण्ठस्थीकृतमस्ति तस्य अर्थबोधः न भवति चेत् सर्वं व्यर्थमेव भवति. So if you just memorize like a parrot without understanding what it means, then it doesn't really it's not really helpful. यथा अग्निं विना काष्ठं न जलति तथैव व्याकरणं विना सम्यक् अर्थज्ञानं न भवति. अतः अर्थज्ञानार्थं व्याकरणम् अध्येतव्यम्. अग्रे सः वदति, इज अ वेरी ब्यूटिफुल पॉइंट, म्लेच्छाः मा भूम इत्यर्थं व्याकरणम् अध्येयम्. किं वदति सः? व्याकरणस्य सम्यक् अध्ययनं न भवति चेत्, व्याकरणं सम्यक् न जानीमश्चेत् अपशब्दानां नो चेत् अयोग्य शब्दानाम् उच्चारणं भवितुम् अर्हति. सो देयर इज अ वेरी फेमस कारिका फॉर दिस. एकं सुभाषितम् अस्मिन् विषये प्रसिद्धमस्ति. पिता पुत्रं वदति, यद्यपि बहुनाधीशे तथापि पुत्र पठ व्याकरणम्. सः वदति, अन्यत् किमपि त्वं न पठसि चेदपि चिन्ता मास्तु, व्याकरणम् अवश्यं त्वं पठ. यद्यपि बहुनाधीशे तथापि पठ पुत्र व्याकरणम्. किमर्थम्? अग्रिमपङ्क्तौ सः वदति, Swajana Shwajano Mabhut Sakalam Shakalam Sakrut Chakrut. So he says that if you don't understand Vyakarana properly, you will not be able to pronounce the words correctly. And instead of Swajana, you will talk Shwajana. So Swajana means your own people. Shwajana means dogs. Instead of Sakala, you will talk Shakala. Instead of Sakrut, Sakrut is a good deed, you will talk Shakrut, which means fertilizer. So just by mistaking one letter or one matra here and there, the entire meaning of the word can change. So the example given in Mahabhashya for this is, instead of Ari, the Asuras started talking Ali, Ali. Ali is a Brahmara and Ari is a Shatru. So in the Devasura Sangram, instead of talking to Devas as He Arayaha, they started speaking He Alayaha. So Ari ityasya sthane Ali, Swajana ityasya sthane Shwajana, एतादृशं प्रामादिकम् उच्चारणं भवितुम् अर्हति यदि वयं व्याकरणं सम्यक् न जानीमः. अतः व्याकरणस्य सम्यक् अध्ययनं करणीयम्. एतादृशानि अन्यानि अनेकानि निमित्तानि आचार्यः पस्पशान्निके स्पष्टीकरोति. So there are like 20-25 points that he speaks about why one should study Vyakarana thoroughly, and at the end he beautifully summarizes all these aspects in one single sentence. He says, Ekah Shabdah Samyak Jnatah Shastranvitah Suprayuktah Swarge Loke Kamadhuk Bhavati. So even if one word is understood precisely and thoroughly well, and it is applied at the right place in the right manner, it has sufficient power to give whatever you want in the Swarga as well as on the earth in the Loka. Now there might seem that there is some exaggeration here, but if you keep that aside, this sentence clearly explains the meaning or the importance of studying grammar. Ekah Shabdah Samyak Jnatah Shastranvitah Suprayuktah Swarge Loke Kamadhuk Bhavati. So with this background, now we can go to the study of Samskrita Vyakaranam. Ashtadhyayah adhyanat purvam Samskrita Vyakaranam kiyat prachinatamam asti tad janimaha. So there is one very common misconception that people think Panini Maharshi Samskrita Vyakaranam rachitavan iti janaha vadanti. Tat samyak nasti. Panini Maharshi Samskrita Vyakaranam na nirmitavan. Samskrita Vyakaranam tu Veda kala deva drishyate. प्रत्येकस्य वेदस्य व्याकरण शाखा अस्ति, तस्य नाम प्रातिशाख्यम. So you might have heard of this word called pratishakyam. Rigved has its own branch of grammar, Yajurved has its own branch of grammar, and the reason for this is that Vyakaranam iti shatsu vedangishu ekam asti. So Shiksha, Kalpa, Chanda, Nirukta, Jyotisha and Vyakarana are 6 Vedangas, which means that each Veda will have different versions of all of these. So Vyakaranasya pratyekasya Vedasya Vyakarana Shakha drishyate, tasya nama pratishakyam, yatha Rigvedasya Rigvediya pratishakyam, Yajurvedasya Vajasaneyi pratishakyam, Samavedasya Pushya Sutra pratishakyam, Adayaha. Paninina Vyakaranasya eka shakha nirmita. So just like these different branches of grammar are there, Panini created his own branch of grammar, which is called as Paniniya Vyakaranam. Atha Paninina swasya Vyakarana shakha nirmita yasyaha nama asti Paniniya Vyakaranam. Now having said this, there is an obvious question that comes over here, that why is it the case that it is the Paninian grammar which is most popular today and which is studied extensively? So nobody talks about Rigvediya Pratishakyam or Vajasani Pratishakyam. What is so great about Paninian Vyakaranam that it is studied so extensively today? And we are going to see the answer of this question throughout today and tomorrow's discussion. But in short, the answer to this question is that Paninian grammar is what we can call thoroughly complete. Ityukte Laukika Sanskritasya Vaidika Sanskritasya cha Sarvesham Shabdanam Rupa Siddhihi Paniniya Vyakaranena Vina Dosham Datum Shakyate. So the other branches of grammar, though they are extremely advanced and complex, still they fail at one or the other place when it comes to the derivation of complex words. But the Paninian grammar stays true to all these tests, and hence it is widely accepted today as the authentic grammar of the language. So Panini was not the first one to create a grammar. He was probably the one who created the best grammar. That's why it is respected and studied even like 2005 years later after his creation. पाणिनेः पूर्वमपि अनेके वैयाकरणाः आसन्, शाकल्य, आपिशली, गार्ग्य आदयः। एतेषां सर्वेषाम् अपि स्वस्य स्वेषां स्वेषां व्याकरणग्रन्थाः आसन् इति मन्यते, परन्तु एते ग्रन्थाः अद्य उपलब्धाः न सन्ति। पंडितैः एतदपि मन्यते यत् पाणिनिः स्वस्य व्याकरणस्य निर्माणं कर्तुम् एतेषां ग्रन्थानां साहाय्यम् अवश्यं स्वीकृतवान्. So this is a very important point to understand, that Panini was not a magician and he did not create all the sutras from void or once from a blue, or one fine morning he woke up and wrote all the sutras. It's not like that. He was an extremely smart logician. He studied all the Vyakarana systems that were existing in his time, tried to understand the problems with them, and then came up with his own system using the existing systems, which had least number of, probably none of those flaws. अतः स्वस्य व्याकरणस्य निर्माणं कर्तुं पूर्वाचार्याणां ग्रन्थानां सः अवश्यं साहाय्यं स्वीकृतवान्. So how do we know this? There are sutras in Ashtadhyayi where Panini clearly mentions the name of various grammaticians and gives them the required credit. So for example, there are sutras like Lopashaakalyasya, Oto Gargyasya, Trishimrishi Krishehe Kashapasya, and so on. These sutras clearly indicate, so etaihi sutraihi spashtam bhavati yat purvacharyanam granthanam sahayyam Panini svikrutavan. He used the grammars written by the previous grammaticians, and using them he created his own system of Ashtadhyayi. अग्रे गच्छामः. पाणिनेः किञ्चित् परिचयं प्राप्नुमः. पाणिनेः जीवनकालस्य विषये बहु न्यूनं ज्ञातमस्ति. यत् किमपि ज्ञायते तदपि सम्पूर्णरूपेण सत्यम् अस्ति इति निश्चयेन न वक्तुं शक्यते. इति उच्यते पाणिनेः निवासः शालातुर नाम ग्रामे, the one is close to Lahore from Pakistan today. So शालातुर नाम ग्रामे आसीत्. तस्य मातुः नाम दाक्षी, पितुः नाम पणिनः, गुरोः नाम उपवर्षः. सः तक्षशिलायाम् अध्ययनं कृतवान्. तथा तस्य कालः 600 BC बिफोर क्रिस्तपूर्वं 600 तमे शतके सः अजायत इति उच्यते. So all this is actually a guesswork. Guesswork means not my guesswork. पंडितैः एतत् चिन्तितमस्ति by looking at various references, but there are people who have objections to these things also. So nothing can be really told sure shot with 100% certainty. केचन पंडिताः एतदपि वदन्ति यत् पाणिनेः मृत्युः व्याघ्रस्य आक्रमणेन अभवत्. कथासरित्सागरे एका कथा अस्ति यत्र लिखितमस्ति यत् गुरुबन्धोः वादे पराजितः पाणिनिः शिवस्य तपं कृतवान्. So there is a story in Katha Saritsagara where it's written that Panini got defeated in one of the debates with his classmates that made him go to the mountains and do the tapascharya of Lord Shiva. Prasannam bhutva Shivaha chaturdaşvaram swasya dhakkam anadayat yasmat Panini Maheshwara Sutrani praptavan. So we probably know this karika. नृत्तावसाने नटराजराजः ननादढक्कां नवपञ्चवारं उद्धर्तुकामः सनकादिसिद्धान् एतद्विमर्शे शिवसूत्रजालम्. So while dancing, the Natarajaraja ityukte Shiva navapanchavaram chaturdashavaram dhakkam nanada. He made the noise of his dhakka damru for 14 times, and from that Panini obtained Shiva Sutras or Maheshwara Sutras. Maheshwara Sutrani ityukte Varnamalayaha anya rachana eva asti. So Maheshwara Sutrani is nothing but an alternate arrangement of letters, not k, kh, g, g, ng, or not a, a, e, e. Anya rachana asti. But that rachana is extremely important for the construction of Ashtadhyayi, as we will see over next few slides. अतः सः शिव माहेश्वरसूत्राणाम् आधारेण अष्टाध्याय्याः रचनां कृतवान्. There are a couple of more things about Panini which very few people know. पाणिनेः विषये एतदपि उच्यते यत् सः कविः आसीत्. So there are kavyas like Patala Vijayam and Jambavati Vijayam. So they are attributed to Panini. Of course, again, there are experts which say that these are not written by Panini, but most of the experts attribute these two kavyas to the Panini and say Panini was also a poet. There is one more important thing. Panineः विषये अन्यः एकः विशेषः अस्ति. अष्टाध्यायीं विरचितुं पाणिनिः सम्पूर्ण भारतभूमेः अटनं कृत्वा सर्वान् भेदान् समावेश्य अष्टाध्यायीं निर्मितवान्. इत्युक्ते अष्टाध्यायीं विरचितुं सः सम्पूर्णस्याः भारतभूमेः विस्तारेण अटनं कृतवान्. भिन्नेषु ग्रामेषु, नगरेषु, प्रदेशेषु स्थितायाः संस्कृतभाषायाः ये केऽपि विशेषाः आसन्, याः काश्चित् रीत्यः आसन्, यान् कानपि नूतनान् शब्दान् जनाः प्रयुञ्जते स्म, तेषां सर्वेषां सः विस्तारेण अध्ययनं कृत्वा स्वस्य ग्रन्थे एतेषां सर्वेषां समावेशं कृतवान्. अष्टाध्याय्यां भिन्नेषु स्थलेषु सः एतान् भेदान् स्पष्टतया निर्देशयति. So there are sutras like Eng Pracham Deshe, which says something, a concept is popular in the Pracham Desha, the eastern countries. So he actually roamed around the entire Bharatvarsha and he picked up all the dialects of the language, and most importantly, he included all of them. He did not say you are right and you are wrong. He included all of them in his book. Therefore, Paniniya Vyakaranam sarva samaveshakam asti iti uchyate. His grammar is said to be fully inclusive. And this is one of the most important reasons why it has retained for so long, or it is respected very well even after so many years. Agre gacchamaha. Idanim अष्टाध्याय्याः विषये किञ्चित् अधिकं जानीमः. So if there are any questions so far, this was all just introduction, but still if there are any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise we will go ahead and we'll start talking about अष्टाध्यायी.
Sakala Shakala तत्र अर्थे
सकल इत्युक्ते सर्वं, शकल इत्युक्ते हेड.
अस्तु.
अग्रे गच्छामः. अष्टाध्याय्याः विषये किञ्चित् जानीमः. सो वेरी जनरल ओवरव्यू ऑफ अष्टाध्यायी. अस्मिन् ग्रन्थे व्याकरणस्य सर्वेषां नियमानां संकलनम् अस्ति. सो द ऑल रूल्स ऑफ ग्रामर आर अवेलेबल हियर. यथा संधिः कथं भवति, समासः कदा करणीयः, शब्दानां रूपाणि कथं सिद्ध्यन्ति, अव्ययानि कानि कानि, भिन्नानां लकाराणां प्रयोगः कथं करणीयः, एतेषां सर्वेषां विषये अत्र विस्तारेण नियमाः प्रोक्ताः सन्ति. एते सर्वे नियमाः अष्टाध्याय्यां सूत्ररूपेण निबद्धाः सन्ति. सूत्रम् इत्युक्ते लघुवाक्यम् इति इदानीं चिन्तयामः. अष्टाध्याय्यां प्रायः 4000 सूत्राणि सन्ति. 4000 सूत्रास् आर् देर्. एतानि सूत्राणि 8 अध्यायेषु विभाजितानि सन्ति. प्रत्येकस्मिन् अध्याये 4 पादाः सन्ति. So the book of Ashtadhyayi contains 8 chapters. That's why the name Ashtadhyayi. And there are 4 sections or padas in each chapter. So to refer to any particular sutra, we can give the adhyaya number, pad number, and then the sutra kramanka. Yatha 6177 षष्ठाध्यायस्य प्रथमपादस्य सप्तसप्ततितमं सूत्रमस्ति इको यणचि, which is a sutra that gives the rule for the yant sandhi. एतादृशम् अष्टाध्याय्यां सर्वाणि सूत्राणि अध्यायेषु तथा पादेषु विभाजितानि सन्ति. अत्र अन्यः एकः विषयः ज्ञातव्यः. भिन्नेषु अध्यायेषु पादेषु सूत्रसङ्ख्या समाना नास्ति. The shortest pada is Dvityadhyayasya Dvitiya pada, which contains only 38 sutras, and the biggest pada is the Shashtadhyayasya Prathama pada, which contains 220 sutras. एतादृशं भिन्नेषु पादेषु सूत्र संख्या भिन्ना किमर्थमस्ति? So why not just organize all the sutras, divide them in equal number? The answer is Ashtadhyayam Sutrani Prakaranashah Nibaddhani Santi. So if you pick up topics, they are arranged according to topics. For example, Karaka Vishekani Sarvani Sutrani Prathamadhyayasya Chaturtha Pade Santi. Samasa Vidhayakani Sutrani Dvityadhyayasya Prathama Dvitya Padayoha Santi. Rinatva Vidhayakani, the sutras that convert a nakara to a nakara. णत्व विधायकानि सूत्राणि अष्टमाध्यायस्य चतुर्थपादे सन्ति. एतादृशानि भिन्नानि प्रकरणानि भिन्नेषु पादेषु निबद्धानि सन्ति, and therefore he divides the adhyayas and the padas based on the prakaranas, not based on the number of the sutras, and therefore in different adhyayas and padas the number of sutras is different. This organization of Ashtadhyayi into various prakaranas actually makes the study somewhat easier. Going down the line, maybe tomorrow, we are going to study in details what prakaranas are there in the first adhyaya, what prakaranas are there in the second adhyaya, and so on. At that time, you will understand how these prakaranas are arranged in a logical way. Agre gacchamaha. Ashtadhyayaः मुख्यतमं प्रयोजनं किम् इति चिन्तयामश्चेत् व्याकरणस्य नियमाः तत्र निबद्धाः सन्ति इति वक्तुं शक्नुमः. कः लाभः एतेषां नियमानां? So why do you really want all these rules? शब्दानां शुद्धाशुद्धत्वं दर्शयितुम् एते नियमाः प्रयुज्यन्ते. यथा नदी शब्दस्य प्रथमा एकवचनं नदीः इति नास्ति, नदी इति अस्ति. एतादृशं ज्ञानं व्याकरणनियमैः एव भवति. So there is no other way to understand the true forms or the sadhu forms or the valid forms from invalid forms unless you have a process to derive those valid forms. So prakriya is nothing but a process of deriving the valid forms like nadi, starting with the prakriti and the pratyaya. Prakriti pratyayabhyam arabhya sutranam sahayena antima padasya ya nirmana paddhati asti tasyaha nama prakriya, and the entire Ashtadhyayi is woven around prakriya. So the fundamental purpose of writing Ashtadhyayi is to demonstrate the prakriya with which you can derive the valid forms and you will not be able to derive the invalid forms. एकम उदाहरणं पश्यामः प्रक्रियायाः. एकं वाक्यं स्वीकुर्मः. रामः वन्दते. अस्मिन् वाक्ये पदद्वयम् अस्ति, रामः तथा वन्दते. Now if you take the first word Ramaha, the prakriti over there is Rama and the pratyay over there is the prathama ekavachana, is su pratyayaha. Rama tatha su ityasmat arabhya, so you can see the number of steps going on there, and in the last step you see Ramaha iti, somehow it is derived. Similarly, vandate, tatra prakritihi asti vanda iti dhatu tatha pratyaya asti tip iti lat lakarasya pratyayah. So then there are different steps and you finally end up in the word vandate. Now on this screen, at this stage, I don't want you to understand any of the sutras that are written over here. What I want you to understand and observe is that at each step, one sutra from Ashtadhyayi is used to derive a new form on the next line. Now this is very similar to proving a mathematical theorem or solving a mathematical equation one step at a time or one transformation at a time. लौकिक संस्कृतस्य तथा वैदिक संस्कृतस्य सर्वेषां शब्दानां एतादृशं रूपसिद्धि निदर्शनमेव अस्य ग्रन्थस्य प्रमुखः उद्देश्यः अस्ति. So all the sutras in this grantha are primarily for assisting the prakriya to help derive the logical forms and to help understand that certain forms are illogical and cannot be derived. So any questions so far? न सन्ति चेत् अग्रे गच्छामः. अष्टाध्याय्यां सूत्राणि सन्ति इति वयं जानीमः. सूत्रं इत्युक्ते लघुवाक्यम् इति अहं पूर्वम् उक्तवान्। शास्त्रप्रतिपादनार्थं सूत्राणां प्रयोगः केवलं व्याकरणे अस्ति इति न। सो सूत्र इज नॉट समथिंग व्हिच इज प्रोप्राइटरी टू ग्रामर। वी ऑल नो योगसूत्राणि, ब्रह्मसूत्राणि, एतादृशेषु अन्येषु स्थलेषु अपि सूत्राणां प्रयोगः कृतः दृश्यते। सो इन जनरल व्हाट इज अ सूत्र? कस्यापि सिद्धान्तस्य अत्यंत संक्षेपेण प्रतिपादनम् एव सूत्रम् इति वयं वक्तुं शक्नुमः। किञ्चित् विस्तारेण पश्यामश्चेत् सूत्राणां प्रामुख्येन 6 गुणधर्माः दृश्यन्ते। So a sutra is typically characterized by 6 important properties: alpaksharam, asandigdham, saravat vishwatomukham, astobham, anavadyam cha, sutram sutravido viduhu. Alpaksharam ityukte सूत्रे न्यूनाति न्यूनानि अक्षराणि भवेयुः. It should have as less number of characters as possible. असंदिग्धम् इत्युक्ते यद्यपि अल्पाक्षरम् अस्ति न्यूनाति न्यूनानि अक्षराणि सन्ति तथापि आवश्यकम् अर्थं स्पष्टरूपेण ब्रूयात्. आवश्यकम् अर्थं तु आवश्यकः अर्थः तु स्पष्टः एव भवेत्. So it should not have any ambiguity or संदिग्धता. So it should have minimum number of letters, but at the same time it should be unambiguous. Saravat, it should not talk in unnecessary details. Sutreshu siddhantah sararupena uktah bhavet. Vishwato mukham, sutrasya prayojanam bahushu sthaleshu bhavet. So you cannot write one sutra for deriving Ramaha, another sutra for deriving Munihi, third sutra for deriving Matihi, and so on. So you cannot really have sutras, or it should not have sutra just for deriving one or two forms. Sutrasya prayojanam bahushu sthaleshu bhavet iti vishwato mukham ityanena nyayate. Astobham ityukte non-redundant or non-useless. So sutrasya kopi shabdaha avayavaha anupayogi redundant ma bhut. Ante anavadyam ityukte sutre doshaha na syuh. So these are 6 important characteristics that all the sutras, not just the Vyakarana sutras, but Brahma sutras and Yoga sutras, all the sutras are expected to obey these 6 important characteristics. Ashtadhyayam prayah sarvani sutrani etadrusham eva santi. So there will be some sutras in Ashtadhyayi that are not Vishwato Mukham, that are only applicable for 1 or 2 situations, but such sutras are very rare. प्रायः सर्वाणि सूत्राणि अष्टाध्याय्याम् एतादृशानि एव सन्ति, अल्पाक्षराणि सन्ति, असंदिग्धानि सन्ति, and so on. So they follow all these 6 important principles. So this was all about general Pithika or general idea about Ashtadhyayi. Now we are actually going to enter this book of Ashtadhyayi. So if you go a little bit higher and take a 50,000 feet overview of Ashtadhyayi, you will observe that Ashtadhyayi is based on a certain skeleton. So there are certain important principles or techniques or tricks or approaches that Panini has used again and again in the construction of Ashtadhyayi. Understanding these principles is vital to understanding Ashtadhyayi down the line. Etesham sarvesham tantranam samyak jnanam bhavati chet Ashtadhyayaha adhyayanam bahu sulabham bhavati. So now for the remaining part of today's discussion, we are going to study 10 important principles that Panini has used over and over in the entire Ashtadhyayi. If you understand these 10 principles thoroughly well, it will be easy for you going ahead to understand sutras in details. So these 10 principles are Maheshwara Sutrani, Pratyaharaha, Anubandhaha, Samyaha, Adhikaraha, Utsargapavadaha, Anuvrittihi, Atideshaha, Paribhashaha, Tatha Asiddhatvam. So we will study all these 10 principles in details in today's class, and then in tomorrow's class, we will talk about Ashtadhyayi and remaining granthas in more details going ahead. सो प्रथमं माहेश्वरसूत्राणां विषये पश्यामः. प्रायः वयं सर्वे माहेश्वरसूत्राणि जानीमः. ऐयुण् ऋलुक् ए ओं ऐ औच् हयवरट् लण् ञमगणनं झफय घढधष् जबगडदश् खफछठत कपय शशसर् हल्. अत्र वर्णक्रमः कीदृशः अस्ति तद् दृश्यताम्. सर्वप्रथमं चतुर्षु सूत्रेषु स्वराः प्रोक्ताः सन्ति. अ इ उ रु लु ए ओ ऐ औ. तत्रापि अ इ उ इत्येतेषाम् एकः गणः, ऋ लु इत्येतयोः अपरः गणः, ए तथा ओ एतयोः तृतीयः गणः, ऐ तथा औ एतयोः चतुर्थः गणः दृश्यते. एतादृशं विभाजनं सामान्य भाषा प्रयोगार्थम् आवश्यकं नास्ति, परन्तु व्याकरणस्य नियमाः अनया रचनया अधिकाः स्पष्टाः भवन्ति. व्यञ्जनानामपि एतादृशमेव वर्गीकरणम् अग्रे कृतमस्ति. सर्वे अन्तस्थाः वर्णाः इत्युक्ते य व र तथा ल एतेषां प्रथमः गणः अन्तस्थवर्णाः, वर्गपञ्चमाः ञ म ङ ण न एतेषां द्वितीयः वर्गः, तदनन्तरं वर्गचतुर्थाः द्वयोः सूत्रयोः, वर्गतृतीयाः ज ब ग ड द, अनन्तरं वर्गद्वितीयाः तथा वर्गप्रथमाः ख फ छ ठ थ च ट त क प एते सर्वे वर्गद्वितीयाः तथा वर्गप्रथमाः. अन्ते श ष स ह एते ऊष्माणः पाठिताः सन्ति. हकारस्य द्विवारं प्रयोगः अत्र कृतः अस्ति. So if you see hayavarat, so you see hakara over there, and if you see hal, there is also a hakara. So ha is the only letter in the entire Maheshwara Sutrani which is replicated, which is used 2 times. Tasya dvivaram prayogaha sutra nirmanasya saukaryartham kritah asti. So if you go a little bit ahead in Ashtadhyayi and start studying it in details, you will find that there are a lot of sutras that get extremely simplified if you put hakara at 2 places. So it is not compulsory. He could have put at 1 place and he could have made sutras a little bit more complex, but it helps a lot. It helps simplifying the sutras if you put hakara at 2 places. So see, this is one of the brilliance that Panini has showed, that he not just rearranged all the sutra, all the letters, but also added hakara at 2 different places because it actually simplifies the construction of Ashtadhyayi. Now it can be debated whether these 14 sutras, did Panini construct them on their own, or did Maheshwara give them to Panini, or did Panini realize it from the Nad of Dhakka? So these are all the questions that we cannot answer at this stage. But whatever it may be, there is the intelligence. You see the construction of Shiva Sutras, there's a lot of intelligence involved in these, and you will realize it more and more you dwell down into Ashtadhyayi. So this is about the first aspect of construction of Ashtadhyayi, Maheshwara Sutrani. एतेषु माहेश्वर सूत्रेषु ये सर्वे अंतिम वर्णाः सन्ति, ऐ उण् इत्यत्र णकारः, ऋलक् इत्यत्र ककारः, ए ओङ् इत्यत्र ङकारः. So all these terminal letters, they are called it varnas or anubandhas. एतेषाम् अनुबन्धाः इति नाम. एतेषां प्रयोगः प्रत्याहार निर्माणार्थं भवति. So that's our next topic in the list, प्रत्याहारः. अनुबन्धानां प्रयोगः प्रत्याहार निर्माणार्थं भवति. प्रत्याहार is nothing but लघु संज्ञा or short form. So for example, if you take the first 4 sutras and if you combine a from the first sutra with ch from the 4th sutra, you get a pratyahara called ach, which represents, it's a short form for all the letters in between. So ach ityanena akara, ikara, ukara, rikara, likara, ekara, okara, aikara, aukara etesham sarvesham grahanam bhavati. So the anubandhas, you don't pick them up, they get deleted later on. So you don't include them, but you include a, I, u, ru, lu, a, o, I, o. So this entire set can be compressed into just 2 letters ach, which represents all of them. Similarly, all the Vyanjanas can be represented as hal, all the Karkasha Vyanjanas can be represented as khar, or the Varga Tritiyas can be represented as jash. Now here you see the par. Panini has used these pratyaharas at multiple places in Ashtadhyayi. So for example, if you consider the sutra Iko Yan Achi, which is the sutra for Yana Sandhi, tatra ikaha iti pratyahara asti, yana iti pratyahara asti, achi iti pratyahara asti. So instead of writing all the letters from I, U, Ru, Ru, or Y, V, R, L, or A, I, U, Ru, and so on, he condensed all of them in pratyaharas and used just 3 pratyaharas to give the entire rule of Yana Sandhi. This is the power of pratyaharas and Maheshwara Sutrani, which has helped Panini for the alpaksharatvam, for condensing a lot of information, a lot of material in a very small number of letters. Pratyahara prayogena etadrusham acharyena sutreshu laghutvam sadhitam asti. Atah vayam kim drishtavantah? प्रत्याहाराः इत्युक्ते लघुसंज्ञा अन्तिम अनुबन्धवर्णेन सह पूर्ववर्णस्य योजनेन प्रत्याहाराणां निर्माणं भवति. Now if you look at Shiva Sutras again, you can see that there are a lot of mathematical permutations that you can do, and you can construct as many pratyaharas as possible. So you can pick up any letter and you can pick up any anubandha that follows after it, and practically a pratyahara can be constructed. So around 200 or 250 pratyaharas can actually mathematically be constructed using Shiva Sutras. However, there are only 44 pratyaharas that are actually used. So only those 44 will be called pratyaharas. We won't call rest of them as pratyaharas. So Shiva Sutraihi आहत्य चतुश्चत्वारिंशत् प्रत्याहाराः एव सिद्ध्यन्ति. Out of these 44, 42 are used by Panini in Ashtadhyayi. So there are 2 more pratyaharas that you require, but they are not used by Panini in Ashtadhyayi. So there are only द्वाचत्वारिंशत् प्रत्याहाराणां प्रयोगः कृतः दृश्यते अष्टाध्याय्यां, परन्तु अन्ये अपि द्वौ प्रत्याहारौ स्तः येषां प्रयोजनम् आवश्यकमस्ति व्याकरणस्य संपूर्णे ज्ञाने. So there are 44 pratyaharas in all, and any random combination of one letter with a terminal letter will not be called a pratyahara. They have to be used either by Panini or they have to be one of the remaining 2s which are justified by the Mahabhashya to qualify them as pratyaharas. एतादृशं शिवसूत्रैः प्रत्याहाराणां निर्माणं भवति, परन्तु प्रत्याहाराणां निर्माणं केवलं शिवसूत्रैः भवति इति न. प्रत्ययानाम् अपि लघ्वीकरणं प्रत्याहारैः कृतमस्ति. So you can actually condense the big pratyayas also. The most common example is the sup pratyaya, which is actually a list of 21 pratyayas, and the ting pratyaya, which is actually a list of 18 pratyayas. So sup and ting, these words are also pratyaharas. You can condense the entire 21 pratyayas in sup or 18 pratyayas in ting. Etadrusham pratyayanam api laghu samnya pratyaharaihi kartum shakyate. So pratyahar is nothing but combination of the first letter with a terminal it varna, and you can have sup and ting as also short forms for the corresponding pratyayas. So this was the second topic about pratyaharaha. So Maheshwar Sutranam vishaye vayam drishtavantah, pratyaharanam vishaye api vayam drishtavantah. Atra prashnaha santi chet vadantu, no chet agre gachamah. Astu tarhi agre gachamah. अनुबन्धानां विषये किञ्चित् जानीमः. शिवसूत्रेषु आचार्येण अनुबन्धाः प्रयुक्ताः सन्ति, एतत् वयम् इदानीं दृष्टवन्तः. सो ऐ उण् इत्यत्र नकारः इज एन अनुबन्ध, ए ओम् इत्यत्र नकारः इज एन अनुबन्ध. परन्तु अष्टाध्याय्याम् अन्यत्र बहुत्र आचार्येण अनुबन्धानां प्रयोगः कृतः अस्ति. प्रत्ययेषु, धातुषु, आदेशेषु आगमेषु भिन्नेषु स्थलेषु अनुबन्धानां प्रयोगं कृत्वा आचार्यः निर्देशं करोति। उदाहरणानि पश्यामः। प्रत्ययेषु त्वा इति प्रत्ययं पश्यामश्चेत् ककारः अनुबन्धः अस्ति, तस्य अनन्तरं लोपः भवति। गमधातोः गत्वा इति रूपं भवति, पठधातोः पठित्वा इति रूपं भवति, तत्र ककारस्य लोपः भवति। तुमुन् इत्यत्र उकारस्य नकारस्य लोपः भवति। ल्यप् इत्यत्र लकारस्य पकारस्य लोपः भवति। So all these letters that get deleted later on, that are not actually used, are called anubandhas, and they are used not just in the Maheshwara Sutras but at multiple places. For example, in pratyayas or even in dhatus. Kru dhatu, kru karoti, अस्य धातोः मूलरूपम् औपदेशिकरूपम् अस्ति डुक्रे, तत्र डु इति अनुबन्धः अस्ति, ञ इति अनुबन्धः अस्ति, क्रू इति अवशिष्यते। एतेषां लोपं कृत्वा पठ इत्यत्र अन्तिम अकारः अनुबन्धः अस्ति। शीङ् शेते टु स्लीप इत्यत्र अन्तिम नकारः अनुबन्धः अस्ति। So even in the dhatus you see the anubandha is used. In different adeshas you see the anubandha used. So she is one of the adeshas that Panini mentions. So there is shakara is an adesha. So actual adesha is just the e. Shakara is used over there as an anubandha. In different agamas, num ityatra makaraha, yat ityatra takaraha, eteshu sthaleshu आगमेषु अपि अनुबन्धानां प्रयोगः कृतः दृश्यते। Ganapathe, Ganapath is what is Ganapath we'll see in the tomorrow's class, but there are some other places also, Pratyay Dhatu. Other than that also there are places in Ganapatha where you see use of anubandhas. Now one question comes over here is that if these anubandhas are anyway going to be deleted, what is the purpose of having those anubandhas in all these dhatus or pratyayas everywhere? Pratyekasya anubandhasya vishishtam karyam prayojanam asti. Udharanam, if you pick up a dhatu, yasmin dhatu ngakara anubandha asti, sa dhatu atmanepadi asti. So if you see a dhatu and if you see ngakara as an anubandha over there, you can immediately conclude that the dhatu is atmanepadi dhatu. Similarly, if you see a kakara as an anubandha in a pratyaya, then there will not be a guna in the prakriya. So if for example ni plus ktva, now ktva asmin pratyaye kakara anubandha asti, ataha ni ityasya gunaha na bhavati, kevalam ni tva iti rupam siddhyati. On the other hand, if you put a tuman pratyaya over there, which does not have a kakara in it, then ni gets converted to ne. Ikarasya ekaraha gunadeshah asti. So ni gets converted to ne and the final form is netum. So this conversion of the dhatu using a gunadesha, whether it happens or whether it does not happen, is dictated by the anubandhas present in the pratyaya. Etadrusham pratyekasya anubandhasya vishishtam karyam asti. So these anubandhas are like markers. When an anubandha is present, it will indicate a certain type of karya or a certain action that will happen during the prakriya. So this is also another very brilliant approach applied by Acharya. This technique of attaching additional letters called anubandhas to pratyayas and dhatus and adeshas and so on, it helps us to understand how these pratyayas function, and therefore it brings definite structure to the entire prakriya and also to all the pratyayas. So anena prakarena prakriya jnanam sulabham bhavati. So if you pick up now any random pratyaya which has a kakara in it, you immediately know that this is not going to cause a guna. So etadrusham anubandhanam prayogam krutva acharyena pratyyanam dhatunam cha bhinnaha. So important properties of all pratyayas and dhatus have been explained by Acharya using the anubandhas. Agre gacchamaha samnyanam vishaye kinchit janimaha. So every science has technical terms. If you open physics or if you open, I don't know, even psychology, there will be some technical terms associated with that particular shastra. Vyakarana Vishishtani Namani Vyakarane Samnya iti namna jnayante. Tattvabodhini is one of the important commentaries on Siddhanta Kaumudi, which says Namakaranam Samnya. So it gives the definition of the word Samnya as Namakaranam Samnya. The method of giving a name to something is called Samnya, or giving a name to something is called Samnya. So these Samnyas are nothing but technical terms that will be used in Ashtadhyayi down the line. Let's take some examples. So the very first sutra of Ashtadhyayi, Vruddhiradaich. So anena sutrena Vruddhihi iti samnya vidhiyate. Etat sutram vadati akara, aikara, aukaranam vruddhi samnya bhavati. So this sutra says that the three letters A, I and Au, these three letters will be called Vruddhi. Now once you define this Vruddhi, you can refer it in multiple sutras down the line. So you have Vruddhirechi, Sichi Vruddhif Parasmai Padeshu, Mrujer Vruddhihi, Eteshu Sarveshu Sutreshu, Vruddhi Ityukte, Ete Sarve Varnaha. So this is also another important aspect of Ashtadhyayi, that in first chapter typically he'll define a lot of technical terms that he will use in the subsequent chapters instead of repeating the same thing again and again. You can call them as short forms or aliases. So he defines, so in this example, for akara, aikara, aukara, an alias called Vruddhi is defined, and then he uses this alias all over the Ashtadhyayi later on. Another example, Nadi Samnya. So this Vruddhi over here doesn't mean growth, or this Nadi here doesn't mean river. These are just the technical terms in Ashtadhyayi which mean what the corresponding sutra says. So Nadi Samnya is given by the sutra called Yustriakhyo Nadi, which means the Dirgha Ikaranta and Dirgha Ukaranta Strilinga Shabdas will be called Nadi. So all the Dirgha Ikaranta Strilinga Shabdas like Nadi itself or Ghati, and all Dirgha Ukaranta Shabdas like Chanchu, Vadhu, all these will get the Nadi Samnya. And then there are sutras which use these Nadi Samnya like Rasvanadyapo Nutta, Ambartha Nadyor Rasvaha, Neram Nadyam Nibhyaha, and so on. Anena prakarena Ashtadhyayam prayah Prathamadhyaye Acharyena Anekaha Sanyaha Pakhitaha Santi Yesham Prayogaha Saha Agrima Adhyayeshu Karoti. So there are total of 91 Samnyas in Ashtadhyayi, and here is the distribution. 66 of them are in the Prathamadhyaya, Ashta Samnyaha Dvityadhyaye Trityadhyaye cha santi, Chatasraha Samnyaha Chaturthadhyaye santi, Dve Samnye Panchamadhyaye, Dve Samnye Shashtadhyaye, Tatha Eka Samnya Ashtamadhyaye asti. So you see that most of the samnyas are defined in the Prathamadhyaya, which is pretty logical because he wants to use them later on down the line. So it makes sense to spend the Prathamadhyaya in defining all these samnyas. And wherever there are samnyas that he doesn't require till the Dvityadhyaya or till the Saptamadhyaya, Ashtamadhyaya, he doesn't bother defining them right in the first adhyaya. He'll define them wherever appropriate. So most of them are defined in the Prathamadhyaya. So this is all about samnyas. Let's talk about yet another important topic of adhikaras. So Ashtadhyayam bhinneshu adhyayeshu acharyena bhinnaha vishayaha pathitaha santi etadvayam drishtavantaha. We also saw that bhinnani prakaranani ekasmin eva sthale nibaddhani sans. Pratyekasya prakaranasya sarvani sutrani ekasmin sthale eva sthapitani santi. So all the sutras of one particular topic are all arranged at one place, and he calls them as a prakarana. And then he gives a sutra which is called as an adhikara sutra, which can be called as the heading of that prakarana. Pratyekasya prakaranasya prarambhaha adhikara sutrena prayah bhavati. Let's take an example. So vibhakti prakaram, so where you should use prathama vibhakti, where you should use dvitiya vibhakti, and so on. Asya sarvatra vivaranam द्वितीयाध्यायस्य तृतीयपादे अस्ति. तत्र विभक्ति प्रकरणस्य प्रारम्भः अनभिहिते इति अधिकारसूत्राणि भवति. इत्युक्ते सर्वाणि विभक्ति विधायकानि सूत्राणि अनभिहिते अस्मिन् अधिकारे पाठितानि सन्ति. So this is an adhikara sutra which is actually a topic heading. So this sutra will not have any meaning on its own, but this sutra will act as a marker or a topic heading, and it will say that all the following sutras come in this particular prakarana, delimited by this particular adhikara. Another example is the adhikara of pratyaya, the most biggest or the most important or biggest adhikara of Ashtadhyayi, pratyaya adhikara, which spans entire chapter 3, chapter 4 and chapter 5. And the title or the heading of this pratyaya adhikara is the first sutra pratyayaha of the first pada of third chapter. So etadrusham Ashtadhyayam prayaha 370 adhikara sutrani santi. अधिकार सूत्राणां विषये किं ज्ञातव्यम्? अधिकार सूत्राणि केवलं प्रकरण प्रारम्भं निर्देशयन्ति, तेषाम् अन्यः कोऽपि अर्थः नास्ति. So if you look at the structure of Ashtadhyayi, in the first chapter he primarily defines all the samnyas, and later on going down the line he will specify, group all the rules in different prakaranas and give an adhikara for each prakarana, which will indicate what the prakarana is about, or which will indicate what the concept is being discussed in that prakarana. So that's all about adhikara. If we have any questions, we can talk about at this stage. No chet agre gacchamaha. Astu, agre gacchamaha. So see, we are slowly dwelling into the structure of Ashtadhyayi. We saw that there are samnyas in the first chapter. We saw that Ashtadhyayi has all the topics, all the sutras arranged in prakaranas, and each prakarana starts with an adhikara sutra. Agre gacchamaha. Kasmin api ekasmin adhikare आचार्यः एकस्य प्रकरणस्य नो चेत् एकस्य विषयस्य सर्वाणि सूत्राणि क्रमेण वदति. So he'll arrange the sutras one by one. तदर्थं सः उत्सर्ग अपवाद पद्धतेः प्रयोगं करोति. So this is a technique, utsarga apavada, that you see used within a prakarana where the sutras are arranged. So entire Ashtadhyayi can actually be called as built using the technique of utsarga apavada. And now I'll explain what an utsarga apavada means. While teaching any particular concept, Acharya will give the most general sutra of that concept first, which is called utsarga, and then he will talk about all the apavadas or all the exceptions for that particular concept, which are called apavada sutrani. So let's take an example to understand. There is a sutra called Kartari Shap, and immediately following it, there is a sutra called Divadibhya Shana. So let's understand what this sutra means. We know that the Gana Vikarana for the first Gana is A, and the Gana Vikarana for the fourth Gana is Ya. Now, how Acharya teaches this concept? He says, firstly, he says that all the dhatus will have the Gana Vikarana A. And then later, so this is the Utsarga Sutra because it tells some general action about entire set. And then in the next line he says, but wait, for the dhatus of the fourth Gana, the Divadi Gana, the Vikarana is Ya, that is Shana. So Prarambhe Sahavadati, Sarvebhyah Dhatubhyah Kartari Prayoge Shap iti Gana Vikarana Pratyaya Bhavati. So Shap is effectively A. Sh and P are Anubandhas, they go away. So Patha plus A plus Ti, Pathati. So this is a generic sutra. Sarvebhyah Dhatubhyah Kartari Prayoge Shapa iti Bhavati. And then he gives an exception. He says, no, but for fourth Gana, you have Shan, which comes as an apavada of Shapa. दिवादिगणस्य धातुभ्यः कर्तरि प्रयोगे शप् प्रत्ययस्य अपवादरूपेण शन प्रत्ययः आगच्छति. So you have नृत plus शन plus ति नृत्यति. So कर्तरि शप इत्यत्र उत्सर्गः अस्ति, दिवादिभ्यः शन इत्यत्र अपवादः अस्ति. I'll give you another example to make this concept clear. If you take napumsaka words, so for example, if you take vari, then the forms of vari, prathama ekvachan if you consider, it's just vari. So the su pratyaya comes over there and it gets deleted. Tasya lopaha bhavati. Similarly, for dvitiya ekvachan, the form is again vari. The su pratyaya comes and it gets deleted. Same thing happens for the word madhu, or same thing happens for the word dhatru. So for giving the prakriya of prathama and dvitiya ekvachan of napumsaka linga shabdas, he gives two sutras, swamor napumsakat and atom. The first sutra, swamor napumsakat, is a general sutra where he says an action which is applicable for all napumsaka linga shabdas. So napumsakat parasya su pratyayasya am pratyayasya cha luk syat. Luk means lopa. So a su pratyay or an am pratyay which comes after a napumsaka is deleted, is what he says. Vari plus su or vari plus the pratyay gets removed and you are left with vari. Now this is going to work for vari, this is going to work for madhu, this is going to work for dhatru, but it doesn't work for akaranta words like phala. So in the immediate next sutra, he gives an exception. He says, but wait, akaranta napumsakat parasya su tatha am pratyayoho lopaha na bhavati iti adeshah bhavati. So phala plus su or phala plus ityatra, both of these pratyayas get replaced by and finally you get phalam. So the first sutra, swamor napumsakat, is an utsarga sutra because it talks about all the napumsakas, and the second sutra is an apavada sutra because it talks about a subset which is already talked above and gives and tells that this subset is an exception. So it is like giving a general rule for the entire set and then picking up smaller and smaller members of that set and giving exceptions or apavada rules for that. That's how the entire Ashtadhyayi is arranged. Any questions so far? Okay, so one of the benefits that he obtains or he can rip when he arranges the sutras like this in the Utsarga Apavada fashion is that these sutras can actually share the concepts. So for example, Kartari Shap and Divadibhya Shan are both talking about the Kartari Prayoga. Or Swamor Napumsakat and Atom are both talking about the Napumsaka words. And now what he does is once he mentions Napumsaka in the previous sutra, he doesn't mention again in the next sutra. What he says is, I will assume that the word Napumsaka from the previous sutra is used in the next sutra if it is appropriate. And this technique of using non-existent words is called anuvrutti. Sutreshu adrushtam parantu avashyakam yat kimapi padamasti tat purvebhyah sutrebhyah yatha yogyam svikaranyam tasya eva nama anuvrittihi. So for doing sutrani alpaksharani bhaveyu iti drishtavanta kila tadrisham acharyah anuvrittehe sahayam svikaroti. Yatra kasyapi padasya bahuvaram prayoga ishyate tatra saha kevalam ekasmin sutre tasya prayogam krutva anyeshu sutreshu tasya anuvrittim karayati. So it's a very powerful technique where one or many words that are required for a complete understanding of the sutra are not present in the sutra, but they are brought in from some of the previous sutras. This technique allows Panini to create sutras without unnecessarily repeating the words. So we'll take some examples and understand this. So the it samnya is defined by the sutra Upadeshe Janunasika it. So the meaning of this sutra, we don't need to go in the details, but there's something called as an Upadesha. And he says that in an entity called Upadesha, Ach means a swara which is Anunasika, it gets the term called Itu. So it's a very straightforward sutra. Upadeshe, Ach, Anunasika, Ita. So he defines a samnya called Ita. He says that in an Upadesh, an Anunasika swara will be called Itu. We don't need to understand what it means. Just understand the what each of the individual words are meaning over here. And then immediately next sutra, he says Halantyam. Hal Antyam. So this is a sutra that contains only two words. Hal Antyam. Hal means a Vyanjan. Antyam means ending. So if you literally translate this sutra, it will mean an ending Vyanjana. Now what it just means to say an ending Vyanjana? The point is you have to bring in appropriate words from the previous sutra, Upadeshe and Itu, to construct a complete sutra over here. Halantyam Upadeshe Itu. And then you can interpret the sutra properly as Upadeshe Antima Vyanjanam It Samyakam Bhavati. So it's not just the Anunasika Ach which is given by the previous sutra, but also an Antima Vyanjana which is given by the next sutra. And the next sutra does not repeat the words Upadeshe and Ita, rather it brings them from the previous sutras as Anuvritti. Another example, Yan Sandhi Vidhayakam Sutramasti Iko Yanachi Ik Varnasya Sthane Sware Pare Yan Varnasya Adesha Bhavati. The immediate next sutra is the sutra for Yantavantadesh, Echo Yavayavaha, for the Ayadi Sandhi. Now in this sutra, you need to bring in the word Achi from the previous sutra so as to understand the complete meaning of this sutra. So at this stage, I'm not expecting you to understand the meanings of all the sutras that I'm walking through. All that I'm trying to explain over here is some words from the previous sutras are brought in the current sutra for understanding the complete meaning, and that's what is meant by Anuvritti. So Anuvritti is a very powerful technique, is one of very interesting techniques which allows Acharya to remove unnecessary repetitions and condense the book and still encompass as much information as he could have done by adding the additional words. So he can remove the words without harming the loss of information using the technique of Anuvritti. Now there is one point here that we should remember. So kasmin sutre kasya padasya anuvritti bhavati tad bhashyat eva jnayate. So you have to refer to Mahabhashya or other books like Kashika or Siddhanta Kaumudi to understand what is anuvritti in any particular sutra. Just because you want to pick up some word from some other sutra and give it as an anuvritti, you're not allowed, you're not free to do that, or you're not allowed to do that. Only when experts have agreed, or only when it is written clearly in Bhashya that a word has to be taken as an anuvritti in the next sutra, only then you're allowed to do that. So this is all about the anuvrittis. Let's go to the next technique of Atidesha, unless if you have any questions, I can answer them right now. Tarhi agre gacchamaha. Anuvrittivadeva Atidesha Nama Tantram Acharya Prayunte. So what is Atidesha? Angla bhashayam superimposition iti vaktum shakyate. What is superimposition? Forcing the characteristics of one entity into another. Kasyachit karyasya anya padarthe aropanam. So I'll explain with a couple of examples and then you will understand what an Atidesha means. So there is a sutra called Trujvat Kroshtuhu. Now Kroshtu is an Ukaranta Shabda. It is expected to run like the word Sadhu. However, in reality, some forms of the Kroshtu Shabda run like the kartru shabda. Karta, kartarau, kartaraha is a rukaranta shabda. Similarly, we get formed like kroshta, krostarau, kroshtaraha. Now, how does Acharya justify this? He says, Trujvat kroshtuhu. Ityukte, रुकारांत शब्दस्य गुणाः क्रोष्टु शब्दे आरोपिताः सन्ति. So one entity like another. So most of these Atidesha sutras will have the word vat in them. So one entity will act like another. This is nothing but superimposition or an Atidesha. यद्यपि क्रोष्टु शब्दः उकारान्त अस्ति तथापि रुकारान्त शब्दवत् चलति. अतः अस्य रूपाणि कासुचन विभक्तिषु कर्तृ नो चेत् धातु शब्दवत् भवन्ति. यथा क्रोष्टा, क्रोष्टारौ, क्रोष्टारः एतादृशम्. अत्र ऋकारान्त शब्दस्य गुणाः क्रोष्टु शब्दे आरोपिताः सन्ति. अतः एतत् अतिदेशसूत्रमस्ति. अन्यत् उदाहरणं सः वदति लोटो लङ्वत्. So he first teaches the lang lakara in details, and then he goes ahead and says that now I am going to tell you only the places where lot lakar differs from the lang lakar, and in all other cases where I don't explicitly mention anything, lot lakar will act like lang lakar. So he says loto langvat. Lot lakarasya pratyayah yatra vishesha rupena pakhitaah na santi te lang lakaravat eva bhavanti. So that is the reason why you see a lot of similarity between the pratyayas of lang lakar and lot lakar. So lang lakar ta tam an, lot lakar is tu tam antu. So there is a tam pratyaya which is repeated over there. Similarly in madhyam purusha there is a tam pratyaya which is repeated. So that is because loto langvat, lot lakarasya pratyayah yatra vishesha rupena pakhitaah na santi tatra te lang lakaravat eva bhavanti iti jnatavyam. अत्र लंग लकारस्य गुणाः लोट लकारे आरोपिताः सन्ति. So this is again another interesting technique where he explains one concept well and then he says that the same concept can be applied on an altogether different entity using an Atidesha Sutra. So this is another important technique that Ashtadhyayi seems to have. There are 35 Atidesha Sutrani Ashtadhyayam Santi. Atidesha Sutranam prayogam krutva ekasya padarthasya karyam anyasmin padarthe aropitam nirdishtam bhavati. अष्टाध्याय्याः संरचनार्थं पाणिनिना प्रयुक्तम् अपरं तन्त्रमस्ति परिभाषा. So paribhasha is meta rules. Meta rules means rules about rules. Ityukte, how to interpret other rules of Ashtadhyayi that is embedded inside Ashtadhyayi itself through the Paribhasha Sutras. So see how Ashtadhyayi bootstraps itself. Anyesham sutranam arthah katham jnatavyah अस्मिन् विषये अपि अष्टाध्याय्यां सूत्राणि सन्ति. तानि सूत्राणि परिभाषा सूत्राणि सन्ति. So the paribhasha sutras will actually tell how to interpret some other sutras. Now again, because paribhasha sutras need to talk about the interpretation of other sutras in Ashtadhyayi, it makes sense to have most of the paribhasha sutras in the Prathamadhyaya. Ataha ahatya 23 paribhasha sutrani santi. Teshu vimshatihi Prathamadhyaye, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Shashtadhyaye ekaikam paribhasha sutram asti. So most of the paribhasha sutras are in the Prathamadhyaya. Let's take some example to understand. So there is a sutra called Ta Gasi Gasa Minatsyaha. So what it says is that the three pratyayas Ta, Gasi and Gas get the adesha in, at and sya. So there are three pratyayas and three adeshas given, but they are not given respectively. He just says the pratyayas Ta, Gasi and Gas get the adeshas in, at and sya. Now the question over here comes is that do we actually take them respectively, like the first pratyaya gives first adesha, second pratyaya second adesha and so on, or is there any other way to interpret them? So atra किम अभवत् पश्यतु, कस्यचित् सूत्रस्य अर्थज्ञाने संशयः ajayata. So there is a doubt, there is a difficulty that we have encountered in interpreting the sutra called tag asigasa minatsyaha. We know that this sutra contains 3 adeshas, but we don't know which sequence they are present. So we can resort to the Paribhasha Sutra called Yatha Sankhya Manudesha Samanam, which says that Samasambandhi Vidhi Yatha Sankhya Bhavati. So it effectively says that if there are 3 sthanis and 3 adeshas, then you just do the mapping respectively. So this is a kind of sutra which tells us, so this sutra, Yatha Sankhya Manudesha Samanam, it does not tell you any new rule of grammar, but it tells us how to interpret probably some 50 other sutras of Ashtadhyayi, and therefore it is a Paribhasha Sutra. So bootstrapping of Ashtadhyayi within Ashtadhyayi is one of the important reasons or important aspects of this Grantha. Another example, Alontyasya. So there is a sutra called Tyadadi Namaha. 7.2.102, Tyadadi Namaha. So what is the meaning of this sutra? He gives a group of words and he says that these words will get an akara desha in presence of a vibhakti pratyaya. Now when we say this word gets an akara desha, the word can have like 2 letters, 3 letters. Where does exactly the akara desha happens? So that is not told by the sutra called Tyadadi Namaha. So Tyadadi Namaha Sutra only says that the group of letters which is called Tyadadi Gana, it will get an akara desha. Now again we have a samshaya here. We are not sure where the akara desha happens. So we can resort to the Paribhasha Sutra called Alontyasya, which says that the adesha will happen for the last letter of the sthani. So again, Alontyasya does not tell any new prakriya rule or any new rule in the prakriya. It tells how to interpret the other sutras. It says, if you have a difficulty in finding where an adesha happens, come to me, I'll have an answer for it. So the Paribhasha Sutras actually explain how to interpret the meaning of other sutras. Ashtadhyayaha nirmane antimam tantram asti asiddhatvam. So probably one of the most intelligent or interesting techniques in the construction of Ashtadhyayi, asiddhatva. Literally it means non-existence. Asiddhatva. Kaha arthaha? So due to the lack of time, I cannot explain this in details, but let's briefly understand what this technique means. So Ashtadhyayaha acharyena bhagadvayam kalpitam asti. So he imagines Ashtadhyayi made up of 2 parts. Arambhikaha sapta adhyayaha तथा अष्टमाध्यायस्य प्रथमपादः सपाद सप्ताध्यायी नाम्ना ज्ञायते. So the first 7 chapters and the first pada of the 8th chapter is called Sapada Saptadhyayi. Sapada Saptadhyayi. So 7 chapters and an additional pada. Sapada Saptadhyayi. And this is the first of the 2 parts. And the second part is the last 3 padas. Ashtamadhyayasya antimaha trayah padaha tripadi. So he has 2 parts, Sapada Saptadhyayi and Tripadi. Now idanim pashyatu asiddhatvasya kaha arthaha. Acharyaha vadati, during the prakriya at any point in time, if you apply a sutra from Tripadi, you cannot go back and apply any sutra from Sapada Saptadhyayi. So Tripadhyaha sutrasya prayogad anantaram Sapada Saptadhyayaha sutrasya prayogaha na karaniyaha. Now please note, this is not the exact meaning of asiddhatva. The exact meaning of asiddhatva is slightly different, but I don't want to go in those details at this stage. For all practical purposes, this is very much true that once you apply a sutra from Tripadi, you cannot go back and apply a sutra from Sapada Saptadhyayi. Ityukte Tripadhyaha sutrasya prayogadantaram Sapada Saptadhyayaha sutrasya prayogaha nishiddhaha asti. So in general, you can apply sutras in Ashtadhyayi in any sequence. So you can first apply sutra from 5th chapter, then go to 2nd chapter, then go to 4th chapter, then go to 3rd chapter, and so on. But once you enter the last 3 padas, you cannot go back. This is what he says. So the last 3 padas are asiddha with respect to the remaining part of Ashtadhyayi. Or you can consider it reverse, that once you enter the Tripadi, Sapada Saptadhyayi is non-existent for you. You cannot enter the Sapada Saptadhyayi again. Now, this seemingly weird rule has a lot of interesting applications, which makes it an extremely important rule of Sutrapatha. We'll take an example with which it will probably become very clear. The first shloka of Gita is Dhritarashtra Uvacha. So the original form is Dhritarashtraha plus Uvacha. But what we see is Dhritarashtra Uvacha. The Visarga is not there. So there is a sutra in Ashtamadhyayi se Tritiya Padaha Lopashakalya iti kinchana sutram asti. Anena sutrena Dhritarashtraha ityatra lope krute Dhritarashtra Uvacha iti bhavati. So the Visarga is deleted over there and you get Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Now the obvious question comes that over here is that Asyam avasthayam gunasandhi kimartham na bhavati. So if you have Rama plus Isha, you'll have Ramesha. So there is a guna possible in general. So A plus U, you can have a gunadesha called O. But why don't you do a gunadesha over there? Why don't you do a gunasandhi over there and say Dhritarashtra Uvacha? Why do you just keep it Dhritarashtra Uvacha? And the answer is, the Lopashakalya, the sutra that causes the deletion of the Visarga, is in Tripadi. On the other hand, the sutra that causes the Gunasandhi, Ad Gunaha, spelling mistake over there, Ad Gunaha is in Sapada Saptadhyayi because it is in 6.1. And once you enter Tripadi, you cannot go back to Sapada Saptadhyayi. Ataha atra Dhritarashtra Uvacha ityatra gunasandhi na bhavati. Anena prakarena anyatra api asiddhadhikarasya prayogam krutva bhinnani rupani siddhyanti. So most of the hal sandhi, vyanjana sandhi vishayakani sutrani tripadyam eva santi. So a lot of sutras, for example here, Visarga Sandhi or Vyanjana Sandhi, these sutras are present in Tripadi because Acharya doesn't want us to apply the corresponding sutras from Sapada Saptadhyayi after it. So going back, these were the 10 most important pillars of Ashtadhyayi. Maheshwara Sutrani, Pratyaharaha, Anubandhaha, Samyaha, Adhikaraha, Utsargapavadaha, Anuvrittihi, Atideshaha, Paribhashaha, Tatha Asiddhatvam. So these 10 important pillars of Ashtadhyayi are seen used every now and then during the entire Sutrapatha. So if you are planning to study Siddhanta Kaumudi or Ashtadhyayi going down the line, to whatever detail you want, these 10 concepts must be thoroughly clear in your mind, and then the study of Ashtadhyayi will become extremely systematic and easy. And if you see a lot of these techniques, it's not very obvious or it's not very common to come up with these techniques. And here is where Panini's intelligence lies. The way he has constructed, we don't know whether he constructed it on his own or he took it from the previous Vaiyakarnas, but the way he has used them in his Grantha is extremely clever, and that is probably why Ashtadhyayi Adya api bahu prasiddha, bahu vandaniya asti. Panini has put in so much thought and intelligence in creating this masterpiece, which probably you will realize and appreciate more and more you go down this Grantha, that even after 2500 years today, the perfection of this book is probably the first book of grammar which is this kind of perfect. And the perfection of this book, even after 2500 years down the line, it amuses the experts in the fields of not just Sanskrit, but also language, philosophy, logic, and even people in the field of computer science. So I think that's all for today. I think it's already 12:30, so we should stop this session. In tomorrow's class, we will learn more about Paniniya Vyakaranam, various granthas of Paniniya Vyakaranam, what are Unadi Sutras, what are Fit Sutras, and so on. And we'll also quickly glance at the major textbooks or works that were done after Ashtadhyayi, which form the milestone in the field of Sanskrit grammar. So thank you very much for attending and hope to see you all tomorrow. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we will just do the Dhyana Mantra and we'll stop.
जश्वसन्धि श्चुत्वसन्धि द्वयमपि भवति चेत् यद् पूर्वं करणीयं जस्वसन्धि तु पूर्वं करणीयं तदनन्तरमेव
श्चुत्वं करणीयं किमर्थं तत्रापि असिद्धत्वमपि आगच्छति. So I explained only one part of asiddhatva. There is another part of asiddhatva which says that even within the Tripadi, once you apply a sutra, you cannot go back. So it's a one-way traffic even within Tripadi. So Jashtva Sutra comes before the Shchutva Sutra in Tripadi, and therefore they have to be executed in sequence. So that is also one of the important implications of asiddhatva. अन्ये प्रश्नाः सन्ति चेत् वदन्तु, नो चेत् समापयामः. अस्तु तर्हि येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्. धन्यवादः. श्वः पुनर्मिलामः.
धन्यवादः.